Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Tricky Jim. Thank you so much for tuning in on this lovely Thursday night. Hopefully, you are ready for some Gym Leader Challenge action. That's what we've got going on tonight. And I'm anxious to see what these players have cooked up for our new post-double colorless, post-twin energy ban. In GLC formats, the ban goes into effect on April 24th. I have heard that the TCG Live team was able to implement the ban on the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live as well. So that should also go into effect on the 24th, which I'm very excited about. So huge thank you to the folks over at TPCI working on the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live for implementing that on short notice. Really appreciate that. And that happens next Thursday. So the trainer trial for Gym Leader Challenge on the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live happens next Thursday. I think it's like a 2-week run that they're doing. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I mean, it's exciting, right? I mean, we as a Gym Leader Challenge community are going to get to try out the format on a digital, official digital platform. Again, like it's been a long time since we've been able to do it on on an official platform. Obviously, the Twin Leaf devs have been working hard to try and implement as many of the cards as they can. And, we are getting a little bit of a truncated version of Gym Leader Challenge on the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live. Obviously, it doesn't have the entire card pool, but this shows that TPCI and the live devs are willing to, try alternate formats on the client, which is just that itself is a big deal. And also you have to imagine that that folks at the Pokemon Company International are going to take login information during these trainer trials and use that information to gauge whether or not they should invest more into alternate formats on TCG Live, right? Because if more users are logging in and playing games during the Gym Leader Challenge trainer trial, then you would think that means that, that TPCI sees that, takes note, and is like, okay, more people are using our game when we offer these kinds of formats. Let's invest more into that. So definitely something that I want to support and something that I want to encourage from the Pokemon Company International. So very excited to be giving that a try next week. But folks, it's a little bit late getting started today because I was working on the overlay for the tournament table, and we are getting started right now. And that's right, we've got Dylan back on stream, still hunting for his first stream win. He has played on stream a few times so far and has not yet had a successful stream bout, unfortunately. He was anxious to get on stream, and the 3 times or so that he's been on stream have not buffed out for him. So we've got Dylan versus Vincent for round 1 of GLC night. And we have 16 players tonight with 4 rounds. So that is the highest number of players that we can have with only 4 rounds. And Ben Morse is not here tonight because he is not feeling well. So, Ben Morse certainly would have been that 5th round, that 17th player to kick us into 5-round territory. But just going to be a short night tonight, 4 rounds. Still should be some great action nonetheless. I don't know what decks these players are bringing so far. Looks like Dylan has got grass and Vincent has got a water deck. Vincent opening that Hisuian Basculin. Going first, benches Remoraid and passes. Dylan has got Kricketune and a Wurmple, so some interesting cards in his grass deck, from what I can tell so far. As he will probably be evolving into a Beautifly, and then Kricketune might increase the HP of all of his fellas there. Now I see he's got a Roserade in his hand, but was not able to draw into a basic search to help him go find the Roselia. Vincent has got Brooklet Hill and Hisuian Basculin, so with Brooklet Hill and Hisuian Basculin, gonna have no trouble filling that bench. Yo, thank you so much, GLC TV, for that $5 dono over on YouTube. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and hopefully you are doing well. I really appreciate all the Gym Leader Challenge content you create on your YouTube channel. It was a pleasure to watch. So thank you, GLC TV, for that dono, and hopefully you're doing well. Thank you, Tony, for that Prime sub over on Twitch, as well as Alec, Low Poly Lotad. Thank you so much. And Horsey getting in there with the sub and the 68 months. It's been a long, long time, Horsey. Yo, thank you so much for the continued support over the years. Vincent has got a Whalmer down, Luxurious Cape. Nope, no Luxurious Cape. Just kidding. What do we got going on here? Uh-oh. Not on the stream table. What happened? Round 1 already? Troublemakers, dude. Troublemakers. Oh, is it a broken sleeve? Okay. Something like that. Maybe a broken sleeve. Yeah, it looks like it's a busted sleeve. So, easy fix. But certainly something that you want to get fixed up as you play around. A little thing that I usually will do if I'm in a tournament or something like that, and a sleeve busts in the middle of the round, rather than like get it from the table and have to disrupt play. Usually, if there's a card in the discard pile that you can just grab that you won't be recovering back to your hand or something, if there's a card in your discard pile that you won't be recovering back to your hand at any point in the game and you're like confident in that, you can just take the broken sleeve and replace it with a card in your discard pile and then just kind of play from there. Like in this instance, you probably could have even taken the broken sleeve and replaced it with like Brooklet Hill or something like that. Since the Brooklet Hill will probably hit the discard pile eventually, and then will probably not be recovered unless you play Lusamine. So just a little tidbit there, if you do ever happen to break a sleeve in the middle of a tournament. Nice to be able to keep things moving. Now Dylan, gonna use Versus Seeker, play Iono, set both players to a fresh hand of 6. Dylan is able to find that Roselia, and Roselia, it's a big deal because Roselia evolves into Roserade with the Leparfum ability. Just one of the strongest support Pokemon that that grass has access to. Leparfum allows you to search your deck for whatever card you want when you evolve Roserade into play. I was curious as to what Wailord Vincent was going to be playing. It looks like Vincent is playing the new Wailord from Journey Together. So we've got big boy, 240 HP, an absolute unit. Now Wailord has hit the bench. That is an intimidating fellow. Vincent has also got Irida, so Vincent can use Irida to go search out Octillery and an item card. Octillery has got the Abyssal Hand ability, which allows you to fill your hand to 5 every turn, so another great consistency card there. And I feel like the early Irida is just such a key play for Water Gym Leader Challenge decks, being able to search out that Octillery or maybe a Drizzile sometimes if you've got a Sobble in play, getting to use Abyssal Hand or Shady Dealings early on in the match is just so powerful. And for Water to establish that Octillery early on is really key, since Water often will use Rain Dance style abilities to accelerate energy into play. In the case of Vincent's deck, we see he's got that Frost Moth there that he was able to find off of the Evolution Incense. Frost Moth has the Ice Dance ability, which is going to allow Vincent to accelerate as many water energy from his hand to his benched Pokemon, bench water Pokemon, as he wants during his turn. And then also is going to take this opportunity to go get Sobble out of the deck and get Sobble on the bench. Sobble can evolve into Drizzile next turn with the Shady Dealings ability, and we're kind of seeing similar strategies from setup decks, relying on these kind of evolve into play abilities like Shady Dealings, like Leparfum, to help set up your deck. Now, Vincent's deck is really kind of cooking here. We see some energy getting accelerated onto Wailord, and he's not going to be able to attack yet, but you have to imagine that next turn, this Wailord is going, wow, Professor's Letter off the top. Actually, now Vincent is only 1 card away from swinging with the Wailord. I think he's going to be 1 energy or 1 switch card short of being able to move this Wailord into the active spot. But this is extremely intimidating if you're Dylan. We can see Dylan's Beautiful Eyes prize. That's not a huge deal, considering this Wurmple will probably get destroyed here momentarily by the 240 hit point Wailord doing 210 damage with Hydro Pump. So yeah, unless Vincent's got a switch in his hand, he's going to have to pass, which we see there. He's got the 4 energy Wailord on the bench, though. And yeah, that is a tough thing to be dealing with if you are Dylan. Dylan does have the potential to 1-hit KO the Wailord, but what he needs to do desperately is to get this Torterra up and running. Torterra is probably the only attacker in Dylan's deck that can reliably handle the Wailord. But instead, we're seeing an energy go to Kricketot and Guzma. Okay, and now Kricketot is actually got a very good attack. Instead of using Marnie in his hand, Dylan is going to take the slower routes, go for Kricketot, and Kricketot has got an attack that allows you to search your deck for 3 different grass Pokemon, put them into your hand. So very strong attack. And it looks like Dylan's going to search out Grottle, Roserade, and I think an Applin. That's what I saw. I'm not totally convinced that the Guzma stall strategy is going to work against Vincent's fully established board. And we can see Vincent has got Arven in hand and can go grab Floatstone from the deck. Floatstone or Air Balloon. Looks like he plays both. I think I see Floatstone at the top of his deck, but he's going to grab Air Balloon first, which makes sense because Air Balloon is like Floatstone. It makes your Pokemon's retreat cost 2 less. And Frostmoth's retreat cost is 2. So, you know, why waste the Floatstone on Frostmoth if you can just use the Air Balloon? And then Vincent's also going to grab Dive Ball off of Arven. And with the Air Balloon, the Frostmoth will have free retreats. And this Kricketot is gonna get bodied. It's just this Kricketot. This Kricketot is gonna be getting destroyed here momentarily. Now Vincent is going to use the Dive Ball. Dive Ball is going to search out Drizzile. Drizzile can use its Shady Dealings ability to go search for, oh my god, Luxurious Cape. Okay, if Dylan did have any hope of being able to one-hit KO the Wailord, pretty much not much hope now. The Wailord does have 340 hit points, so it's a large amount of HP for a single prize Pokemon. I guess it's not a single prize Pokemon because it's got a Luxurious Cape on, which makes it so that it's worth 2 prizes, but still a absolutely massive amount of hit points for a Pokemon in Gym Leader Challenge formats where Rulebox Pokemon are not allowed. So Vincent will take the first prize. As Dylan tries to scramble for an answer. Doesn't have a single evolved Pokemon in play going into his turn, as opposed to Vincent, who's got a board just completely set up at this point. Dylan can evolve into Groddle. Groddle's got the Sun-Drenched Shell ability, which is going to allow Dylan to search his deck for a grass Pokemon and put it into his hand. So that will certainly help him to establish more of a board. He's also got Roserade in hand. So maybe he can use Roserade's La Parfum ability to help do something. It looks like Dylan is searching for Thwackey, but the Grookey just got put into play this turn. So I don't think that that's going to matter. Maybe unless he's saving it for next turn. And I think Dylan has to hope that Vincent is not going to use any sort of gusting option this turn. So no Boss's Orders, no Guzma, because if any of his Pokemon, I think he's got Raihan as a potential supporter. He's got N and he's got Marnie. So I don't know, maybe if Raihan's getting used this turn, then it makes sense to search out that Thwackey preemptively. But we saw Dylan has not used Raihan or not used the Marnie or the N in his hand. So maybe he'll use Raihan this turn. It looks like he's using La Parfum now and can search his deck for any card. And you really hate to waste La Parfum on a grass energy, but it looks like that is what Dylan is going to do. Is going to La Parfum for a single grass energy, which does not feel great. With such a powerful ability, you can search your deck for whatever card you want, and the card that you're going to search out is the only card in Gym Leader Challenge that you can play 20 of if you want to. I have to imagine that the Wurmple paralyzes on a flip. Is that... And Dylan's like not going to play a supporter this turn, which just seems quite strange. I think that that's it. Yeah, so heads, that paralysis. Sleep? Is it sleep or is it paralysis? It's got to be sleep. So Dylan used Le Parfum to get a grass energy to attempt coin flip on a... To attempt sleep on a coin flip. That... Okay. All right. Well, here we are. Ball's back in Vincent's courts. Oh, it's sleep plus poison. Got it. Okay. And Dylan still has this Wailord to contend with. Thank you so much, Z-Man Cuddles over on Twitch, for that sub and the 22 months. Appreciate the support there, Z-Man Cuddles. Thank you. Hisuian Heavy Ball from Vincent. Going to help him to find the Kyogre that is in his prizes. Kyogre, there's no bench space for Kyogre right now, but Kyogre's got a very powerful attack. Allows you to deal 180 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. You can choose whichever one you want. Wait, is the Evo Soda... Yeah, so this does not proc. Yeah. Yes, so Evo Soda makes it so that Inteleon cannot use Shady Dealings. Yes, very good. So the Inteleon's in play, no Shady Dealings, has to come from hand. Yeah. All right, that is an uncommon interaction, and something that maybe long time. If you're not like an extremely long time player of the Pokemon TCG, you might not have encountered that before. But Evo Soda searches an evolution from the deck and puts it into play. And Inteleon's Shady Dealings ability says when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you get to search for 2 trainers. So Vincent attempted to use Shady Dealings, presumably to go find Boss's Orders or Guzma or something like that. But unfortunate for Vincent, not actually able to proc those abilities. Was not able to proc that Inteleon's ability because Evo Soda searches the evolution from deck, and Inteleon only procs when played from hand. So interesting little interaction there, but definitely something to take note of if you play Evo Soda in your deck. Thank you, Grizzly Thadams, for that gifted sub over on Twitch. I really appreciate the support. Thank you, Grizzly. Hopefully you're having a great day. I really appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so Dylan finally able to get this this Diplin up. But can the Diplin make enough of a difference? The Diplin, this is the Festival Lead Diplin. And Diplin can attack twice, but I mean, I feel like Dylan's got to attack more than twice right now in order to mount this comeback. Oh, is Grizzly? Is that you, Thad? Yo, what's up, Thad? Oh, it's all good. It's great content. Always a pleasure to watch you play, Thad. And honestly, like, a lot of players are working through new decks right now, learning strategies, things like that. I didn't even see like the Mew EX. I did not see the Mew EX route. I did see the Turo Double Monkey Dory play. But I always forget about Mew EX in the Gardevoir deck. So yeah, There's a lot of different routes you can learn with the Gardevoir deck, and you had a solid showing for sure. But I did have to go tell Fran. that she somewhat dodged a bullet in that final game, though, because you had win and didn't see it. So I did have to let her know that she dodged. Yo, appreciate you though, Thad. Thank you so much for the gifted sub. And honestly, my hope is, and if I'm ever being critical of play and stuff like that for the locals, my hope is that that locals watch it back and that it helps everybody to get better at the game. That's my hope. It's never like, I'm not trying to and I hope it comes off that way. I'm never trying to never trying to be overly critical or anything like that. But I do want to help everybody to get better, and that's, I think, kind of the vibe that I'm going for. Just help us learn and get better as a league. So I hope that the league provides that resource for you all. So Dylan. Oh, Dylan. All right. Dylan's got Thwacky. Dylan's got Raihan. Dylan's got Dipplin. Dylan's got Festival Grounds. Oh, thank you, King Jester, for the sub in the 38 months. I appreciate it. Thank you. And Darth Dragus for the Prime sub in the 26 months. All right, so we've got the festival leaders. The festival lead is here, but at what cost? Setting up the festival lead play and the do the wave play is not exactly easy in a singleton format, but here we are. And Dipplin is only going to do 2, 4, 6, 80 damage twice. So even though Dylan is attacking twice with Dipplin, which he has spent maybe 5 turns trying to build up to this play, he's still not one-hit KOing the Wailord, or 2-hit KOing the Wailord. I don't know how you want to say it, since the Dipplin can double attack. So that is tough. That is tough. I feel like Dylan maybe kind of honed in on really wanting to attack with Dipplin, and could have just attacked with Tapu Bulu to actually clear the Wailord. Tapu Bulu why is his scan so small? Oh no, Tapu Bulu. You silly goose. All right. Let's see if I can fix this on the fly. Bulu. Can I fix Bulu? Yeah. Got him. Great. All right. Yes, he could have attacked with Bulu. Bulu has the Wood Hammer attack, does 220 damage. And with the Wailord having a couple damage counters on it, would have gotten the job done. We do see he's prepping that Bulu on the bench, and I would hate to see the Bulu get promoted next turn to finish off the Wailord, because Bulu can do 220 damage. So if Bulu comes up to finish off the Wailord, that's just a gross misuse of resources if you attack into like a heavily damaged. Yeah. All right, Vincent, no double supporter here. All right, let me see the Acerola. But that is scary. Vincent plays Acerola. So we know that he's got the option to pick up a heavily damaged Wailord. So here's something also that I want to note from Dylan's play, because Dylan used Field Blower to remove the Luxurious Cape, But actually, if you just keep the Luxurious Cape on the Wailord, you're not knocking it out in one hit, but the Tapu Bulu could come up and finish it off for 2 prizes. So really, that's something that I see players do all the time, is that they just think like, oh, Luxurious Cape is on the Pokemon. I absolutely 100% have to remove it, right? Like, no, you really don't. So if you think about Gym Leader Challenge, most of the time you're taking 2 prizes over the course of 2 turns in the middle of the game, right? As you're going to be one-hit KOing Pokemon. But if you're just going to if you're going to 2-hit KO a Pokemon with Luxurious Cape, that's still 2 prizes over the course of 2 turns. So Dylan actually did himself a huge disservice by removing the Luxurious Cape, because now he's only going to take 1 prize, where he could be taking 2 prizes. So that's another thing. Something to keep in mind. Oh, does Festival Grounds stop poison? I've never actually read Festival Grounds. I don't know what it does, other than hello, gamers. Hello. So with Festival Grounds, you cannot be poisoned, right? All right, so Wailord's not poisoned, right? Okay. There we go. Just making sure. The Wailord's taken 2 damage counters. Can you guys please remove 2 damage counters from the Wailord? 2. Thank you. All right. We've got it. Dylan going to take his first prize, but you see, Dylan could have taken 2 prizes if he just left that Luxurious Cape on. Could have been a 2 prize take. But instead, just a single prize. Why is there backwards? Dylan, why do you have a backwards card in your deck? That, is it supposed to be a Galvantula, or is it supposed to be, or should you replace it with a basic energy? Good Lord. Dylan. Oh no. I know this game. this game. I know Dylan was so anxious to get on stream. And every time he goes on stream, it's like, it's cursed. It's cursed, bro. Every time. It's like his deck is cursed, or his play is cursed, or he's got a backwards card. Yeah, so that's pretty sick. Anyways, hopefully they get this figured out. All right, looks like they do have it figured out. Fantastic. We're so back, folks. Holy smokes, Totodile Dundee with the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Yo, huge thanks to Totodile Dundee. Thank you so much for that very generous dono. The dono says, good day, mate. I'm considering the 6K event. Feeling a little intimidated. It's a 12-hour drive. My heart says one color. My brain says another. What do I do? Get both? Yeah, well, I appreciate that very generous donation there, Totodile. I I have to say, I think that the trip would absolutely be worth the drive. I mean, like, Full Grip Games, really really cool card store, and it's not just a card store. I mean, we've got a bar and cafe. We've got a whole board game store. We've got a whole candy store. I mean, really, there's a lot to appreciate about Full Grip here on Market Street. But then there's also just a lot to do in the greater Akron area as well. And for an opportunity to play the Destined Rivals format before you can anywhere else, for cash prizes, just to be surrounded by other people who are also passionate about Gym Leader Challenge format. Definitely, I think that's an experience that is worth making a trip out of, personally. As someone who traveled to Wisconsin last year to be part of a base fossil tournament, there's players who travel to Japan to be part of RSPK tournaments. Gym Leader Challenge is kind of in that realm where it's like, if there are Gym Leader Challenge tournaments that happen all over the place, but not ones like we host here at Full Grip Games. So certainly I would say that it's worth the time and effort it would take for you to travel there. And I think that you would have a great time as a Pokemon fan. As far as what deck to play, got about a month and a half until the event. I would say don't be intimidated, because you figure there's going to be 100, 150 players at the tournament. A lot of people are going to be feeling exactly like you feel right now, where maybe they're traveling or maybe they don't know what deck to play and things like that. I would say to just really be a part of the Discord community and the Discord chat, talk in the Tricky Gym Discord, GLC discussion, talk in the Cardboard Warriors Discord, and try to refine, your concept of what deck you want to play, maybe card inclusions and things like that, over the course of. Wait, what is happening here? Was that a Devo spray and evolve on the same turn? Okay. Was that a Devo spray and then re-evolve on the same turn? You can't do that. You cannot do that. Yeah, you cannot Devo and then evolve red again. Is that what happened? So I'm going to need to rewind that. And if you got to call Judge over, then let's call Judge over. So I was like just trying to talk to Totodile Dundee over here in the chat, and I wasn't expecting another gameplay error, folks. I was not expecting another gameplay error, okay? So I was just trying to respond to Totodile Dundee. But yes, I highly recommend chatting in the Discord. That can help you to feel a little bit more confident about your choices and help talk with other Gym Leader Challenge fans about the format and things like that. And I think that would help you to feel more confident in your choice, and then I would say also, if this is your first like big Gym Leader Challenge tournament, just go with the intention to have fun. Try not to stress yourself out or feel like you need to play, you need to win or top 8 or anything like that. If this is just like really your first, event that you're traveling to, try to just not worry so much about the end result, and think more about the journey along the way. So that would be my suggestion. But it definitely doesn't hurt to have more than one deck built. So I would suggest having at least two decks built heading into the event. So that way you can, you have some options. You don't need to have 10 decks built, but having 2 decks built, I think, would be a good bet. That way you have some choice leading up to the event, as far as like which deck you feel like is performing better or which deck you feel like has the which deck you feel like you have the best shot with. Well, it's all good. We learn these things, and we learn by playing. The thing is, in Gym Leader Challenge formats, there's a lot of card interactions that players don't see all the time in standard format, and sometimes that's intimidating. There's a lot of there's a lot of different card interactions that you don't see all the time in standard. There's older cards like the Devolution Spray, like Evo Soda, and seeing how those cards interact with modern cards and seeing how like the rules, I mean, really, as far as like using those cards go, it can be new to players. So League is the perfect place to learn those rules and those interactions, and that's what tonight is. Tonight's a League tournament. So everybody has to learn eventually, and learning at League is a great way to learn. And honestly, it's almost better that some of these interactions are happening on camera, because it allows us to actually correct them so that the same mistakes aren't made going forward. And then Totodile asking, if you do standard, same answer. Yes. If you're going to play in the standard event, which I would definitely recommend, we'll keep an eye on limitless.com and the results coming from Japan. This is going to be our Destined Rivals release weekend event. So you certainly could play a deck that's performing well in standard right now and just ship it for the Destined Rivals event. But the new cards from Destined Rivals will be legal. So you could keep an eye on the Japanese results. Destined, or the Glory of Team Rocket set, releases in Japan tomorrow. So the new results from the format will start to be pouring out of Japan this weekend. And we can get an idea of what our Destined Rivals format is going to look like. So yes, I would keep my eye on Limitless, and I would consider having a couple of options heading into the event so you don't pigeonhole yourself into just one deck. But I think 2 is a very healthy amount of options to have. 2 decks. Very reasonable. All right, here comes Intellian Shady Dealings. Dylan's got 4 prizes left. Vincent's 3. Vincent has Intellian going now. And we see that Vincent's also playing Melodic. I think that Vincent is playing the Melodic that allows you to... he's either playing the Melodic that allows you to get a card back from your discard pile, or the Melodic that allows you to blow itself up and get 3 energy into play. I think it's the one that allows you to recover a card from the discard pile. It looks like time is really starting to dwindle down in the round, as these players have had multiple little snafus pop up throughout this game. It's one of the reasons that Gym Leader Challenge is suggested to play at 40-minute match timers, because there are a lot of card interactions that players are not familiar with in Gym Leader Challenge formats, and players are not always kind of blazing through the game actions and stuff. So 40 minutes really helps things to feel more relaxed and comfortable for the vast majority of players, especially helps new players to get into the format without feeling intimidated. I think there are quite a few players who would have a tough time navigating a Gym Leader Challenge match in just 30 minutes. All right, we see Vincent's got the Intellion. Intellion can take this knockout. Whalmer is loaded up on the bench, but Vincent is turn 0. So Vincent will probably not be able to take 3 prizes over the course of 2 turns. As Vincent's turn 0 and then will be turn 2 of time. Vincent can go to 2 prizes here with Intellion's Aqua Bullet attack. Then Dylan can promote Tapu Bulu. Dylan's got 4 prizes, so ain't no way he's going to take 4 prizes. Even with the festival lead, I don't think Dylan's taking 4 prizes over the course of the next 2 turns. It ain't happening. Dylan's going to keep playing, though. Orne Rod. Bulu out. Kricketune in play. Rillaboom in play. Turtwig back. And Rillaboom will juice that Turtwig up with a couple of energy, thanks to its voltage beat ability. But again, I do think that this, unless they had an extension, and it's possible that they had a little bit of an extension because of like a judge ruling or something. Okay, now they did have a little bit of an extension. We see Natalie just put the turn 0 dice out. Okay, I was curious because they did have some issues during the game. So Natalie did give them a little bit of a time extension, just a minute or 2, but that is going to make a big difference in this game. Is now Vincent can win the game. And Vincent is turn 1 of time instead of being turn 2. So really, it just added 1 turn to the game. But that 1 turn, I think, is going to make all the difference. We see Dylan was able to use Boss's orders to target down the Whalmer this last turn. I am sure that Dylan does not want to have to deal with a 240 hit point whale again. And now Intellion can use Aqua Bullets. But the Kricketune is in play. So let's pull up Kricketune. Kricketune has got an ability that makes it so that all of your grass Pokemon get 40 more hit points. Kricketune from Astral Radiance. The Swelling Tune ability. And then Dylan is going to remind Vincent that this knockout is actually not a knockout because of that Swelling Tune ability. So where Vincent thought that maybe he was going to take this KO and advance closer to a win. Now Dylan is turn 2 of time. Vincent will have one more turn. But he would have to play something like a Hex Maniac and take a knockout in order to win. And he could do that. I mean, it's certainly possible. Dylan, I don't think, can attack with a Tapu Bulu or he will knock himself out. Because Tapu Bulu does 30 damage to itself when it attacks. So he cannot do that. Yeah, Woodhammer does 30 to himself. Dylan could use Lusamine to bring back Festival Grounds and could actually take the knockout on this Inteleon if he plays Lusamine, because the Diplin on the bench could use Do the Wave twice. And it looks like he maybe sees that play. Lusamine gets the Festival Grounds back and can also get another supporter. Not like Dylan will have another turn, but this, I think, is the best play that Dylan has. Festival Grounds, retreat the Tapu Bulu. Tapu Bulu is very fat, has a retreat cost of 3, so a hefty retreat cost there. But here comes Diplin, right back at it. And Diplin with the Festival Grounds in play. And you know what, chat? I did not know what Festival Grounds did until today, so you learn something new every day. Festival Grounds makes it so that Pokemon cannot be affected by special conditions if they have energy attached to them. And we learned that here in our Gym Leader Challenge game. So, very cool. I had no idea. Now, Vincent can still win. All he has to do is knock out the Kricketune, actually. So if Vincent uses Kyogre to knock out Kricketune or uses Hex Maniac, there are like actually a lot of different routes that could allow Vincent to steal this game right here. There's a Hex Maniac in his hand. That's really all he needs to do. Hex and it's over. Hex and take the knockout. But it looks like Vincent needs an energy. So maybe he's trying to thin his hand down so he could draw with Octillery. But he can't play Hex first. He has to use Octillery first. The drama. Here we go. Does he find the energy? Super Rod. And it's a tie? Is it a tie? That's it? Round 1 is a tie after all of that? Oh, that's true. If Vincent played Hex, you could play Hex right there and then take your prize. And then if your prize is a water energy, you windmill slam it. It was an energy? Oh, that would be crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you have to play the Hex, take the knockout, because the Tapu Bulu gets knocked out. The top prize card was an energy. All right, well. Some great learning opportunities there from that game. Some great learning opportunities, folks. And that's what it's all about. Learning, getting stronger as a Pokemon TCG player with every game you play. Let's get Ben Peacock on stream let's get Ben Peacock. Let's get Ben Peacock on stream. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's get Ben Peacock on stream next. That's hype. Yeah, that was a crazy game one, folks. Shoo. A lot to take away from that, though, you know? And that's the thing about Gym Leader Challenge. So, like, you learn. You play, you learn, you grow, and you keep trucking. So, that is something that I feel like a lot of players, a lot of players are intimidated to try Gym Leader Challenge because of stuff like that, right? Because there are just so many cards in the expanded card pool that it can be intimidating for players to want to get in to Gym Leader Challenge because they're afraid of looking silly if they don't know how a card interaction works or something like that. Dare I say that Gym Leader Challenge can be more difficult to learn than standard. I mean, it's kind of just true. I mean, there's way more card interactions that you can encounter in Gym Leader Challenge format than you can in standard. That's just a numbers situation. And not to mention the fact that you're operating in a singleton format where like every single deck is just way more different than most standard decks as well. Unless you're playing a deck like towards, Charizard piles from last year, which, kind of more closely resembled a Gym Leader Challenge deck than a than a standard deck. But yeah, Gym Leader Challenge is a really tough format to learn. But that's why I say start with your favorite type. Just start with your favorite type and go from there. When you divide the card pool in Gym Leader Challenge up into a 10th, right? Because that's what you do. When you pick a type and you decide just to learn a type, then you basically take the GLC card pool and then you slice it into a 10th. And that is a much more digestible pool of cards to learn. So that's always my suggestion for people getting into Gym Leader Challenge format. Just pick a type, learn your type first. And then once you feel confident with your type, pick another type. And then start mastering that type. And then you can move on from there. And then, the real GLC heads out there got all 10 type decks built. And then the hunters of the world have 10 decks per type built. I think that's Hunter's goal, is to have 10 decks per type. So 100 GLC decks. I unfortunately do not have 100 GLC decks. I have 100 GLC decks in my heart, but in reality, more like a dozen. Like 10 or so, something like that. Because I already have like close to a couple hundred retro decks. So like, to me, Gym Leader Challenge is kind of like a format that I have built like every other format that I have built. I have 2006 built. I have about 10 2006 decks. I've got about 10 base Neo, maybe a dozen base Neo decks. I've got a handful of base Fossil decks, right? Like Gym Leader Challenge, I've got about 10 decks built. For any format, finding a format where there's more than like a dozen good, like top tier decks is like that's like almost impossible. People will say, "Well, sumlot." No, don't even sumlot me. Okay, there are not more than a dozen good sumlot decks. Don't even do that to me. There really aren't. For any given format, it's like the best decks. There's probably a handful to a dozen. But yeah, anyways, let's see what's round 2. But I really admire people with their creativity and drive to build as many Gym Leader Challenge decks as possible. It is really hard for me to keep track of. I even, with my 10 Gym Leader Challenge decks, it is so hard to keep track of 10 Gym Leader Challenge decks. To like keep the decks like updated and with like the most relevant cards and the lists to be like the most up to date and the attackers all to be correct and everything. Keeping track of 10 is tough. It's really tough. Speaking of Sumlot, we've got a Sumlot tournament happening next Saturday here at Full Grip Games. So if you want to prove that Sumlot is actually an awesome format, show up. Show me the awesomeness. Because we've got that going on next Saturday. Yes, really, Jesse. Yeah, you should come play next Saturday. Next Saturday, Sumlot tournament here at Full Grip Games. I'm going to be co-casting the event with Chris Fulop. That's right. World's finalist, 2004 World's finalist, Christopher Fulop. Going to be joining me in the casting booth here. All right. Thad, I'll give it to you. Vika Ray is the coolest Sumlot deck. I'll give you that. Yeah, that's facts. All right, round number 2 is getting underway. We've got Chase on the left versus Jack on the right. Both these players are 1-0. Looks like we've got Psychic versus Lightning. Spread Lightning did win League last week. At the hands of Cole. And here we go. And we see right off rip, Chase has got Mr. Mime in the active. Battle VIP pass in the hand, too. Holy pop-off. Let's go. Goated. Those of you guys that have been playing standard format for at least a year or so will know. Anytime when you were playing like Mew VMAX or whatever, and you'd open Battle VIP pass in your hand, every single time, without fail, opponents would be like, must be nice. Did you guys experience that? Like you're playing Mew or any deck with Battle VIP pass, and you open the Battle VIP pass, and people are just like, oh, how's it feel? You know. But in Gym Leader Challenge, like the eyes roll so far back, it's like, oh my God. Like I actually get audible when people open Battle VIP Pass in Gym Leader Challenge where it's just a singleton in your deck. Yeah, dude. My head nearly pops when it happens. It's like, bro, that shouldn't work, man. It shouldn't work. Should not be consistent. All right, so Chase is got a wonderful setup here. Go turn 1 Wobbuffet. Get that Wob in the active spot. Wobbuffet has got the Bind Barricade ability, which makes it so that all non-psychic abilities don't work. And then Chase got Arven in hand too. I mean, just absolutely incredible opening here. With the Bind Barricade ability activated, Jack will not be able to use any of his abilities. You know, huge thank you all those subs over on Twitch as well. Run, Jamie, run. Yo, thanks, Jamie, for that Prime sub. And thank you, Jamie, for all the help you do in the Discord, answering questions, ruling questions, things like that. I really appreciate it. So just wanted to say I do see all that work you do there. I appreciate that. Thank you, Crystal Wall Plays, for the Prime sub in the 2 months. And thank you, CFS, as well, for that sub in the 55 months. Appreciate you. So it looks like Jack has got Evo Soda, can use Evo Soda to evolve up into Electivire. So yeah, again, if you're local, want an opportunity to play cool retro formats, we are going to be hosting our first of many retro series events here at Full Grip Games next Saturday, starting with the Sun and Moon to Lost Thunder event. Natalie and I are lending out like over 10 of our Sun and Moon to Lost Thunder decks that we have built and own to players. So like, you know, we're just about tapped out on all the Sumlot decks we have to offer out to people, but definitely make sure to check it out if that's something that you're interested in. All right, so Jack has got Iono. And then if you're not local, make sure to tune in next Saturday on Twitch, as I'm going to be co-casting the event with 2004 Worlds finalist Chris Fulop. It should be a great time. Quick ball. Going to search out Blitzel. But again, Jack does not have access to any of his abilities right now because of that Bide Barricade. I really hope our locals, if you're a local here at Full Grip and you're watching, I really hope we get a good turnout for the Sumlot tournaments, because I really want these retro tournaments to continue. They're just a ton of fun to cast and produce. So I really hope that we have a decent showing for it. And Jack's going to evolve into Flaffy and pass. Have to say, love that these decks are color-coded with the sleeves. This is wonderful. Yellow sleeves on the Lightning deck, purple sleeves on the Psychic deck, just like God intended. Chase has got, looks like, Battle Compressor in his hand. And Quick Ball. So, going to use Quick Ball, discard Psychic Energy. Go get... It's like you don't actually want to get Giratina off Quick Ball because you want to use Battle Compressor to discard Giratina, right? So yeah, you never want to Quick Ball for Giratina if you have Battle Compressor in hand, because Battle Compressor can actually just put Giratina straight to the discard pile. It's been really fun to see our standard players start to give Gym Leader Challenge a try. Chase is one of our one of our regular standard players, as is Dylan. Dylan's one of our regular standard players as well. And they usually, go to a couple regional championships a year and have been on that standard grind. But to see them pick up Gym Leader Challenge format's been really cool. And I'm excited for them to continue to experience and improve at the format as well. So it's been sick to see Chase show up week after week to try and improve his GLC game. But yeah, here we go. Chase going to send the Giratina to the discard pile with Battle Compressor. Battle Compressor is just an incredibly broken item card. Allows you to search your deck for up to three cards, and discard them. So, compare that to a most recent Ace spec, the Blender, which discards 5, but it's an Ace spec. And Battle Compressor, and you can see the power level of that card. It's just nuts. But yeah, you want to send Giratina to the discard pile so that you can use that Distortion Door ability to bring it back from the discard pile and then place damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon. Chase is just going to swing with Wobbuffet's by Psychic Assault for 10. Which is fine. I mean, right now, he's not under any pressure from Jack. Jack's going to use Ball Guy, so still, isn't going to play a supporter that allows him to draw cards. Just going to continue setting up his board. So Chase is kind of chilling right now. But Chase does need to start thinking about setting up his own board. Chase has done a very good job of establishing like a disruptive front with Wobbuffet, but Chase does not have any of his stage 1 Pokemon evolved up, in the back there on the bench. So I think Chase really needs to prioritize setting up those stage 1 Pokemon. I'd really like to see a Curlia hit the board next turn, Xatu, and then I would be feeling good. Because as it is right now, Chase does have a good board state, but it's very precarious. All Jack has to do is play like an escape rope, and the whole gig is up, right? Like one escape rope, one boss's orders, Guzma, something like that, and the Wobbuffet gets pushed out of the active spot, and all of a sudden Chase's lack of a developed board gets very exposed. So Jack has got an energy to Morpeko, and Morpeko is a cool card that the Lightning spread deck plays. It's got a Torment attack, 20 damage, makes it so that Pokemon can't use one of its attacks next turn. Spark does a little spread there. Chase just going to end this hand away. So off the end, Chase certainly hoping to find some outs to those stage 1s. Let's see what they got. 6 cards apiece. Chase was able to find Malamar, but doesn't have an Inkay in play. Didn't find any Ball Search cards from what I can tell. So, kind of funny, found Rescue Stretcher if you would use, if Battle Compressor had maybe put like an attacker in the discard pile, you could use Rescue Stretcher to bring it back. I do think, so this turn, Chase has a Psychic Energy in his hand. And I think that Chase should bring the Giratina back from the discard pile and get that Psychic Energy attached to it. If there's is there a Psychic Energy in his hand, or am I tripping? No, there's not. So never mind. I take it back. But with the Muscle Band, Wobbuffet is going to swing for more damage. Now, that Psychic Assault is actually getting kind of scary now and will start to knock things out. Jack does play Silent Lab in this deck, so Silent Lab. Oh, and you see he's got the escape rope in his hand. So things can start to get hectic here with the Wobbuffet getting pushed out of the active spot. And Chase doesn't have a board state to back it up. Something odd that I noticed, I think Chase opened with an Arven in his hand and decided not to play it, even though he was going second. I do think that Chase could have used that Arven to potentially search out something that would have helped him in the following turn. And now here comes Jack with Zapdos. And can also use... sack it. He's got Rescue Stretcher in hand, and the Mime has a U-turn board on it, so I don't mind the Mime sack. Like, that's fine. He's got Rescue Stretcher in the hand. But yeah, things are going to start getting a little bit scary here. If the Monkey Dory gets hit and not knocked out, that's true. That would have been kind of cool, right? Because then you can move the damage with Monkey Dory later. Avery is big for Chase. It's going to make it so Jack has to discard his bench down to 3. So that is quite disruptive. And Jack going to discard Blitzel and Morpeko. I still think Wobbuffet's like a fine promote. But you do need to start getting these evolutions to play. Chase still not able to find an evolution searching card, which is tough for sure. And Rescue Stretcher going to bring the Mime right back. Buddy Buddy Poffin could go search out Inkay unless it's prized. But I also, with the letter, I think that Chase needs to prioritize getting a Psychic Energy onto like Giratina this turn, something like that. He's got Giratina in the discard pile. I think Chase should bring it back. And really just getting that one energy onto Giratina would be such a big difference. Darkness energy on the Monkey is like good too. Either one, so long as you're getting an energy somewhere. But without Malamar, like no Malamar, no Xatu, you definitely got to think about each energy attachment. All right, so Letter's going to grab a Psychic and a Dark. Dark going to the Monkey Dory, so still no attacker yet, but I think Wob here is fine. You just Wob for 30. Just send it, right? That's okay. And then next turn, Wob is doing 60. It's pretty good. All right, Night Stretcher and Guzma. You see, I mean, this is tough. Jack can get another energy into play, targeting down that Mr. Mime. The Mr. Mime has got a bench barrier ability. Makes it so that spread damage does not hit the bench. Jack gonna get a Dynamotor off as well. I'm probably gonna go back in with Zapdos. Looks like Chase has got like a pretty decent hand now, though. Zapdos going to take this knockout. Jack going to go to 4 prizes left. A third of the way there. Let's see what Chase has got in response. Ultra Ball. Chase finally finds a Ball Search card. Can use Ultra Ball to go get Kirlia. Kirlia has the Refinement ability, of course, as we know from Standard. And Refinement's going to give Chase some extra dig. To help move through the deck. He's got gear in hand and a couple supporter options as well. I think it's a Raihan in hand or Tulip. One of the two. I can't quite tell, though. All right, and here comes the Giratina. But Chase definitely needs to recover the Mime, or things are going to get funky. You kind of want a Refinement first before making your supporter decision, I would say. But I think Chase is just going for, like, I want to hit everything, so just going for the N. And that's fine. Because if it's N to 4 and just wob again, I guess that's okay. And you can refinement after the N. Chase really wants to get back. I mean, there's a lot of pieces. I get the N and then refinement play because Chase has a lot of pieces he wants to hit here. So, kind of saying I just need to draw into like multiple pieces, I think makes sense. And he hits multiple pieces, as we can see. He's got Hisui and Heavy Ball. You can probably find the Inkay if that's prized. Yep. And it is, which is why we didn't see it Buddy Buddy Poffin for earlier. Let's choose between Inkay and Latios. I think Inkay is correct. You really want to get that energy, acceleration set up. You don't really need to do 180 damage to a... you just don't need to do 180 damage to the Lightning deck, right? You just really don't. Lightning Pokemon are really squishy. Giratina can kind of just handle everybody in the deck. I do think that Chase needed to put 10 damage on the Electivire. It's got 140 hit points. With the Giratina, that would have been good. He's got Night Stretcher for Mime. Inkay recovered, but he doesn't have bench space for Inkay, so just going to use Wobbuffet to swing again. And he's kind of hoping that that maybe Jack doesn't have a way out. And Jack's just going to respond back with another N. Zapdos being in the active spot is tough. I mean, Zapdos only does 80 damage if it switches from the bench. So from the active, Zapdos only dealing 10, which Wobbuffet does not care about. Thank you so much, ASR Cristiano, for that raid. Yo, welcome everybody from ASR Cristiano. Appreciate the raid. Hopefully y'all are having a great night. We are watching some Gym Leader Challenge here at Full Grip Games this afternoon. Got 16 players gathered for little 4-round tournaments. And we're on round 2 of 4 right now. Jack with N. Looks like Jack is playing the Raichu in his deck, which is really cool. Raichu does 50 damage to each Pokemon in play that has damage counters on it. So actually, the Raichu would be pretty terrible against this matchup because we see Jack's got 2 Pokemon that have damage counters on them. So they would get hit by Raichu's attack as well. So it looks like Wobbuffet may finally get to take a KO. As I think this Zapdos is going to be stuck. And Thunderous Assault for 10 damage. Funny enough, Chase is just going to be able to move that. So I think that Jack should have probably not Thunderous Assaulted, right? Because Chase already has the Monkey Dory with the Darkness Energy on it. So you really don't want to just add fuel to the fire there. So that's just another 10 damage that Chase will be able to move. Chase has got Arven for turn. He's got a knockout, so he can use Arven to go search out maybe Evolution Incense or Mysterious Treasure, get Xatu online. That's really what I want to see. But again, I think you want to refinement before you Arven. So that's like another little sequencing thing. Like I think you want to refinement with Kirlia first, so that then, like, what if you draw into, and Chase does see to ping the Electivire 10. That's a good call there. Like, what if you draw into Evolution Incense off of your Refinement, right? I get the logic here, though. You've already got the Psychic in hand, and maybe there's no cards in your hand that you want to Refinement away. So if that's the case, if there's not a single card in your hand that you want to Refinement away, then yeah, you go use Arvin for the Evolution Incense, and then get the Xatu and draw 2 cards first, because then you can draw 2 cards and then make a more informed decision about what you want to Refinement away. And we see Chase is doing the heads-up play of level balling for the Mew and then thinning the Mew out of the deck with Refinement. So I like that, and that's fine. The route, using Arvin before the Refinement, is fine if you have absolutely nothing in your hand that you're comfortable Refinementing away. So that's fair. Just definitely something you want to think about, though, and not just do without thinking. Town map. Going to flip Chase's prizes over, and now Chase can go grab the Tulip out of the prize cards. Excuse me, guys. I apparently have an opportunity to get some Glory of Team Rocket booster boxes, so I need to orchestrate that right this very second. Wonderful. All right, that is all square. Thank you, Will RN Daniel, for that sub in the 39 months. Appreciate you. Hopefully you're doing well. Thanks. Yeah, someone was texting me about $70 Glory of Team Rocket booster boxes, and I'm like, oh, yeah. $70. Like, hold to stop everything. Yes. I don't know. They might not be coming like very fast, though. But yeah, at $70, I'd buy those. Right now, they're $200, so I can't really afford to get them right this second at $200. But at $70, oh yeah. Thank you, Last Porg, for that Prime sub in the 13 months. Thank you. All right, Jack's going to Marnie. Chase is taking a prize. Got to adjust the prize overlay there. And then let's see what Jack has got. There's a Mr. Mime in play, so no bench damage shenanigans for Jack. No Zebstrika in play either. Things are just getting really grind. Oh, no, there is Zebstrika in play. Excuse me. No Zebstrika ability online. Can't use Sprint because of Wobbuffets. So counter energy going to go on to Regieleki. I mean, it's tough, right? Because like you really can't even like swing because the Monkey Dory is established, right? Chase has kind of got this game locked down now. Because if Jack does any snipe damage, Chase is just going to be able to move it back with the Monkey Dory, and he's got Mr. Mime with the bench barrier on top of it. Like, this is just an atrocious state of affairs for Jack. Jack does not have a single thing in his deck that adequately deals with Chase's board position right now. Like, the whole concept of Jack's deck is just destroyed by Mr. Mime and Monkey Dory and Wobbuffet. I mean, there's there's like everything that Chase has going on right now is like the worst thing that Jack could see across the table from him. Jack's deck is a spread deck that wants to use Reggie, Alecki, and Electivire to spread damage on bench Pokemon. Use big attacks like High Voltage Current, which does 50 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon, or Regieleki with its Terra Spark attack, which is 120 and 40 to 2, right? You really want to be able to use those. Oh my gosh, and Chase with the Guzma. Bring that Electivire into the active spot, and I think Chase is finally deciding that it's time to break the ability lock with Wobbuffet. He's played passively for long enough, and now it is finally time to bring up that Giratina Shadow Impact. Shadow Impact. Crazy. I mean, this is like, Giratina is not a new card. This card is from Lost Thunder. Kind of an oldie. But it's still just a solid card, and it hits 130 damage for 3 energy. It's got the Distortion Door ability, so in a singleton format like Gym Leader Challenge, having the ability to bring back an attacker over and over again from the discard pile is just like really high value, because you don't have to waste Pokemon recovery cards like Night Stretcher or Rescue Stretcher on your attacker. Giratina can always just come back from the discard pile. That's extremely high value. You're getting just a lot of utility out of a single card slot in your deck. Shadow Impact is a very serviceable attack, dealing 130 damage. And the Distortion Door ability, placing a damage counter on 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, can help fix math. As we saw, 10 damage is all Chase needed to do to the Electivire in order to knock it out with Shadow Impact. But then the real clincher is that Shadow Impact can put 4 damage counters on one of your Pokemon, as we see Chase put 4 damage counters on Wobbuffet. And then next turn, Chase will be able to use Monkey Dory to move the damage counters off of his own board and onto Jack's board. See Jamie in the chat also mentioning that you can use Shadow Impact to deal damage to your own Screamtail. If you play Screamtail in your Psychic deck, you could damage your own Screamtail with Shadow Impact, and then Screamtail could pick off something on the bench. 4 damage counters on a Screamtail. That's 80 damage to the bench. If you play a card like Rainbow Energy, you could do you could do 100 damage to the bench. If you played a card like Frozen City or Gapejaw Bog or something like that, you could do even more. So a lot of interesting combinations with the self-damage. We see Jack is actually going to Guzma himself and is determined to take out the Mr. Mime yet again with its bench barrier ability. Again, Jack not able to spread any damage onto Chase's board so long as that Mr. Mime is there, unless Jack plays a card like Silent Lab, which turns off all basic Pokemon's abilities. But we see Jack has not found a Silent Lab yet. Does have access to Sprint now, though, so can discard his hand, draw 4 cards, thanks to that Zebstrika. So finally seeing that ability come into play. And then Zapdos Thunder Assaults will deal the 80 damage necessary to take that knockout, sending Jack to just 3 prizes remaining. Chase has got a field blower. It looks like Tulip. He's going to search off of Gallade's Buddy Catch ability. Buddy Catch, incredibly powerful in Gym Leader Challenge format. Allows you to search your deck for a supporter every turn. Put it into your hand. So with Buddy Catch, Chase can go search out Tulip and say, "Ha, you thought that Mr. Mime was a goner? It is not. I will bring Mr. Mime back yet again." And we see a Monkey Dory play, and with Monkey Dory, Chase is going to use Adrenabrain to move 3 damage counters over to the Mareep. That was a play that he set up turns ago, so props to Chase for seeing that line down the stretch. He put 10 damage on the Mareep from a Distortion Door, I think, to get it to that 6 damage counters. Did I say Mareep? I meant Flaffy. Sorry. The Flaffy. Mareep Sr. And then here comes Giratina. So that's a 2-prize take there for Chase this turn. And all of a sudden, Chase has springboarded ahead in this matchup where he was trailing for most of the game. Now finds himself at a 1-prize lead coming down the stretch. Was able to take a double knockout, taking out both Flaffy and Zapdos. Flaffy is an incredibly important support Pokemon for this Lightning deck, but Jack is finally able to find that Silent Lab. Silent Lab is such a key card in this matchup. Turns off all basic Pokemon's abilities. From Primal Clash 2015. Got reprint Silent Lab, am I right? Imagine shutting down Fan Rotom, Squawkabilly, Teal Dance, Latias, EX. Imagine all the stupid abilities you turn off in standard format with Silent Lab. Basic Pokemon are too broken. They knew that back in 2015. We are getting Watchtower at least. I know. All right, so with the Silent Lab, it looks like, is Jack playing Hex as well? Yes. So with Silent Lab and Hex, these abilities are really, really turned off. But Regieleki doesn't have a damage buff, so it actually misses the knockout on Giratina. With the Terra Spark. So Terra Spark has to discard all lightning energy. Damage counters placed. So Jack finally able to launch a spread attack, but will it be enough? Chase does have the instant counter stadium with Dimension Valley. Dimension Valley is one of the strongest stadiums in Gym Leader Challenge format. And one of, I'd say, the top, dare I say, is it like a top 3 card in the Psychic pool? Dimension Valley is just an insanely high value card. Makes it so that your Psychic Pokemon's attacks cost 1 colorless less. It's just incredible. We see that Dimension Valley come into play. So Chase has countered the Silent Lab, taking care of that, which is step one, but Hex is still live. So Chase still cannot use any of his abilities. Is Chase going to retreat into Gallade? I like this line. I think that's fine. Energy retrieval. It's fine. Get another energy. Nope. Nope. Stop. Chase, you're hexed. Stop it. Put it back. Bad. That's fine. I don't care. That's fine. Just yeah, put him back. It's funny because Jack had left the hex out to like remind both players, but then decided to finally put it, in the discard pile. And then as soon as Jack put it in the discard pile, they forgot the hex had been played. Yeah, Hex Maniac. Now, Hex Maniac is like a top 3 card in like the format, probably like a top 3 power level card in all of GLC. The card is absolutely bonkers. A supporter card that turns off all abilities. But I think Hex Maniac is just such a cool card for Gym Leader Challenge format. Gym Leader Challenge being a singleton format really makes it so that Hex is more balanced. Because you just have the one. And there are ways to recur it, of course, but you have to put work into recurring it. You also have to have like a draw engine established. Usually you have to have a nice draw engine established so you can really take advantage of Hex. It's not like the easiest card to play, especially in like the Lightning deck. In the Lightning deck, Hex is like kind of hard to play because a lot of times you want to Hex and then sprint and you can't do it. So Hex can be like really clunky to play in the Lightning deck. There's a Jack trying to see if he's got a route to come back in this game. Staring down a Gallade. 1 prize to go. It's looking rough. 3 prizes left to take. Does have a Giratina on the bench with just 10 hit points left. Got a Wobbuffet on the bench with 20 hit points left. So, like, it's conceivable that Jack could take 2 prizes. But as we can see, kind of leaning in that Morpeko, he is probably saying, like, I don't actually think I can do it, right? So here comes Morpeko. Morpeko has Torment, can deal 20 damage, make it so Gallade cannot attack next turn, but with Chase having his abilities back. And there you go. Chase is your winner. Can just move the damage counters with Adrenabrain and actually just attack with Monkey Dory for the dub. So Chase is going to move on to 2-0 after an early deficit. Was able to set up the perfect anti-spread board against Jack and make it so that he walked away with the dub. Congratulations to Chase and Jack on a well-played game. Chase definitely kept his wits about him in that one after going down 2 prizes early and was able to march back, establish a really, really threatening board for that spread deck. And Jack was unable to find Silent Lab early and unfortunately was not able to execute his strategy in the face of what Chase was doing there. We got some discussion in the chats about Hex Maniac. I know Hex Maniac's a very divisive card. In Gym Leader Challenge format, there's some people who think the card's way too strong. Swizzerton with 2,500 bits. Yeah, thank you so much, Swizzerton, for the continued support. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the love. Hopefully you're doing well. But Hex is actually a really important card for Gym Leader Challenge format, and the reason for that is that abilities are just very, very, very powerful, obviously. And Hex is like the universal ability blocker, right? Every deck can play Hex. Every deck can play Hex. So with Hex Maniac in the format, every single deck has the option to turn off abilities for a turn. Now, some decks are better at using Hex than others, but that is just the natural way of the format. Like, some decks are better than others, and the better decks are usually better at using Hex. Like, that's just kind of how it is. The decks that can efficiently get attackers going and can afford to use their supporter for turn to do other things, those are the decks that are going to be winning tournaments anyway, right? Like, that's just kind of how it is. Like, Hex, of course, like, the best decks use Hex the best because they're the best decks. They could use any powerful supporter for turn because they have efficient attackers and good draw engines, right? So, like, that kind of that kind of is just like what makes good Pokemon decks good, generally, right? Decks that have to use their supporter for turn in order to chain attacks every turn are not going to have the versatility to be able to use a card like Hex. You also have to keep a card like Hex in the format because Pokemon knows no bounds when it comes to printing really, really, really insane abilities. Let's talk about it, right? Like crazy, but first of all, we saw Hex Maniac was played in that last game and allowed Jack to turn off bench barrier so that he could actually execute his deck strategy. Without Hex Maniac, Jack's strategy has literally no hope against the Psychic deck. I mean, there's Silent Lab, but Hex Maniac gives you like another shot to turn off those problematic abilities. You look at a card like Bramblegast, right? Like Bramblegast can have 350 hit points at the end of the game. Like, Hex is an ability that can allow you to turn things like that off. We even saw how interesting last game was with like the Kricketune ability, right? The Kricketune gave the Tapu Bulu more HP, so it didn't get knocked out. But then, like, Hex would have given Vincent an opportunity to take a double knockout. Hex turn off the ability, take the knockout. Like, Hex is a very dynamic card in the format and is actually, I think makes the format much better and a lot more interesting. It's also a card you have to like play around it. If you're playing a deck like Water, you have to be thinking like, I can't just rely on having my abilities every single turn. I have to like plan and try to say like, all right, I have my attacker, and then I have like my backup attacker is like maybe 1 energy away from attacking. Like that's the ideal state that you want to be in, so that you can say like, all right, if I do get hexed, I still have an out, or like my active Pokemon is too big, my opponent won't be able to hex and knock it out at the same time, so I'm safe there. It's just a dynamic card that kind of allows you to, it makes games far more interesting. There are definitely times that like if you're winning, then you hex knockout and then you just win harder. That certainly happens. But like Boss's Orders is also a card like that. I'm winning. I don't need to play a draw card. I have Boss's Orders actually. So I'm going to boss up your support Pokemon and knock it out. I'm going to boss up the guy that you're building up. Like Boss and Guzma are also cards that allow you to like get further ahead when you're already ahead, right? Like they kind of operate like that too. Any supporter that is not like helping you establish a board state or helping you to draw cards or like set up, those are all like luxury supporters that are going to help you kind of like get further ahead if you're already ahead. Right? Boss, Guzma, Hex, these kinds of supporters are good for the game. They allow you to have like more complex strategies in place. So, yeah. Hex, overall healthy for the format. It was actually like healthy in standard when it was standard legal as well. What made Hex unhealthy was when you eventually had like the expanded card pool got like really big, and then like decks could way too easily like play Hex Maniac every single turn of the game. Like that's like what got like really, and also in the early days of Gym Leader Challenge, before Oranguru was banned and before Hiker and Chip Chip Ice Axe were banned, it was also possible for colorless decks to play Hex Maniac every turn of the game as well. Hex Maniac's really only problematic if you can play Hex every single turn of the game. And colorless control could do that. Like Grant Manley's original like Gym Leader Challenge colorless control deck could play Hex Maniac while also using Chip Chip Ice Axe, while also using Lieutenant Surge's strategy every single turn of the game. Like it was crazy. Every single turn of the game. They like establish a lock, remove your hand, and then go like Hex, Chip Chip, Belelba and Bryson Man every single turn. It was nuts. It was nuts. So like that's unhealthy, yes. And that's why Hex eventually got banned from expanded format, because there's too many degenerate strategies that allow you to use Hex every single turn of the game. But in Gym Leader Challenge, with Hex Maniac being a singleton card, it is much more difficult for those kinds of like unhealthy strategies to exist. In the early days of Gym Leader Challenge, there was no ban list, right? I mean, there was literally no bans. So like with no ban list, Hex also becomes a little bit of a problematic card because you have a little bit too much recursion. You have a little bit too much hand control. But with some of the first ban cards kind of taking care of that recursion, it makes Hex a much more balanced card again. So anyways, we've got round 3 coming up. Let's get into it. All right, we've got Noah and Chris for round 3. Both of these players are 1-1. Apparently, we've got lots of ties tonight. So Natalie wanted to show off some different strategies. We've got Dragon and Darkness on display. Be a fun match. Round 3 of 4. Let's get into it. Looks like Chris is going to be piloting the Dragon deck. Noah's got Darkness. And Noah opens Galarian Moltres going first. Chris has got Druddigon active. Artisan going to allow Noah to search his deck for basic Pokemon. Put it straight on the bench. Ooh, we see Noah's got that nice shiny foul play Zoroark. Man, I really want to get myself one of those. Just such a cool card. I was talking about it the other day. I think Zoroark from Black and White is the oldest attacker, I think, that still sees play in Gym Leader Challenge format. This card was printed in 2011. That was 14 years ago, folks. 14 years ago. There's been a lot of power creep has happened in the Pokemon TCG. A lot. I mean, a lot. 14 years is like half of Pokemon's life. But this Zoroark still sees play in Gym Leader Challenge formats because the card holds up. Turns out, a card like Zoroark, what makes Zoroark work in Gym Leader Challenge still is that Zoroark's foul play attack chooses one of the defending Pokemon's attacks and uses it as this attack. And with a card like Zoroark that just copies the opponent's Pokemon's attacks, at the time it was printed in 2011, Zoroark was only as powerful as the opponent's Pokemon were, right? Because foul play can only do whatever your opponent's Pokemon can do. And in 2025, Zoroark kind of keeps pace with power creep because it just still copies exactly what your opponent's attack is. So now that we've got Pokemon in Gym Leader Challenge format that can do 200 damage, Zoroark, even though he was printed in 2011, can also do 200 damage, which is kind of one of the fascinating things about a card like Zoroark. It's almost like you think of a card like Clefable from Jungle, which had the metronome attack. It's hard to fathom that Clefable from Jungle had the metronome attack, which is basically foul play, and it only cost one colorless energy. One colorless energy. One! I mean, if Clefable from Jungle was Gym Leader Challenge legal, that card would see play as well. These kinds of attacks are timeless because they can't really, so long as the attack cost is manageable, they can't really get power creeped out of the format because they grow with the format, if that makes sense. So Zoroark, a really cool, timeless card in Gym Leader Challenge formats, and a card that will see play as long as the format exists. Chris has got Escape Rope, and I'm going to toss Tatsugiri up into the active spot. Tatsugiri has got the Attract Customers ability. It's going to allow Chris to look at the top 6 cards of his deck, grab a supporter that he finds there, put it into his hand. He's got Gible and Druddigon on the bench. Gible can evolve into Garchomp. Very strong attacker in Gym Leader Challenge format. Can also evolve into Gabite. Gabite is a fantastic support Pokemon in Gym Leader Challenge formats with the Dragon Call ability. Another old card that still sees play in GLC formats. A card that we will certainly be missing from the Sun and Moon on abbreviated version of Gym Leader Challenge that is coming to TCG Live next week. The Dragon Call ability. Another timeless ability. These kinds of abilities that allow you to just search your deck for specific cards. Very good. This card was printed in 2012. One of the support Pokemon from the Black and White era that still sees widespread play. Chris has got TM Turbo Energize and a Water Energy to the Tatsugiri. And TM Turbo Energize is going to allow Chris to get a really explosive start to this game. The TMs were a big switch up for Gym Leader Challenge formats. Being able to turn any opener into a good opener is just like kind of crazy. And that's exactly what TM Turbo Energize does. Any opener, any Pokemon you open can just grab 2 basic energy from the deck and attach them to your bench Pokemon. So really high value there. A card like TM Turbo Energize. Same with TM Evolution. Allowing you to evolve 2 of your bench Pokemon. So Chris going to use that TM Turbo Energize. Juice up his bench Pokemon with some energy. Water energy to Gibble. Fire energy to Drudagon. Looks like he's got an Applin on his bench as well. And it's Noah's turn. Noah's got Sneasel in the active spot with free retreats. If he is able to find a card like Hoopa this turn, he could take a quick knockout on that Tatsugiri. Hoopa's got the Assault Gate attack. Should go really well right here. It looks like Noah's got double turbo energy in his deck to help unlock Zoroark and Guzzlord's attacks. A little bit easier, but just has to settle for an N. No Pokemon in play that Noah wants to commit an energy to quite yet, so just going to N the hand away. See what he finds off these next 6 cards. He did get his Artisan countered by Stormy Mountains. Stormy Mountains, a type-specific basic search, allows you to search for either a basic dragon or lightning Pokemon, put it straight to the bench. Artisan would have been nice here for Noah. And Chris taking advantage of that basic search to help set up his board a little bit better, while also denying Noah the basic search himself. Hisuian Heavy Ball looks like it's a go fish situation. Hisuian Heavy Ball allowing Noah to take a look at his face down prize cards, put a basic Pokemon he finds there into his hand. Doesn't find one, so swing and a miss, but does have Guzzlord. Guzzlord is that guy in the Darkness deck. It's got the Red Banquet attack, 120 damage, does cost 4 energy. However, it allows you to take an additional prize card when you take a knockout. So, just an absolute game dominator. When Guzzlord gets up and rolling, it can take command of an entire match all by itself. Things get a little bit more difficult without twin energy or double colorless energy, but dark decks also have access to Dark Claw, Muscle Band, and ways to boost your damage output. There's even a Stadium that boosts your darkness type damage by 10. Cards like Professor Kukui. You could put 4 basic darkness energy on the Guzzlord. A lot of decks are already playing Janine Secret Technique, and Beast Ring. So lots of ways to get this Guzzlord powered up. Tatsugiri back at it with another Attract Customers ability. Chris has got to feel pretty good about Noah using N and not finding anything. Tate and Liza going to get grabbed off of Tatsugiri. Tate and Liza, just a nice consistency card. It's got versatility, so it makes it so good. Shuffle, draw 5, or it could be a switch card as a supporter. You have to choose before you use the card which one of the effects you're going to use. U-turn board onto Tatsugiri, which is interesting. I think U-turn board on the Tatsugiri with the energy on it is something that I actually don't like. I prefer to see that water energy retreated off of the Tatsugiri and then U-turn board maybe put on, because as it is, if that Tatsugiri doesn't get knocked out, then that water energy is kind of stranded there forever, which just gets kind of weird. And the water energy is like actually higher value in the discard pile because you can do things like Raihan it back. But I get why Chris would want to play the U-turn board, because he's getting ready to use Tate and Liza. So, like, it makes sense. However, it is a decision that you have to weigh. Now, with the water energy, it's true. Tatsugiri could surf. But again, I mean, we see here's Raihan right here in Chris's hand. So, you know, if the water energy is stuck on Tatsugiri, then he can't use Raihan to accelerate it. So again, I mean, I do think that Chris should have skipped the U-turn board on the Tatsugiri this turn. Level Ball is going to go get Gabite. Gabite can use the Dragon Call ability to go search out Fracture. Fracture and Axu both have abilities that make it so they can't be targeted by supporters on the bench. So no boss's orders, Guzma, anything like that. Chris is going to pass. And let's see, with a fresh set of 6 cards, can Noah make some magic happen? Finds both Arven and Iono off of Pokegear, so some great options there. We also see that Noah is choosing to play Counter Energy in his Darkness deck, and I think that's really good options. I mean, Counter Energy is just an incredible card, and I expect Counter Energy to see a lot more play now that Double Colorless Energy and Twin Energy are banned from Gym Leader Challenge format. It's just a much more fair card. It's double energy, double rainbow energy, but only active if you're behind on prizes. Otherwise, it's just a single colorless energy. So much more dynamic and fair card for the formats than unconditional double energy like Twin and DCE. And Noah's going to choose the Iono off the Pokegear. We'll see if he decides to play that. After he shuffles up. Galarian Moltres, also just a great card in the format. Great card in this dark deck, but you don't want to start it. It's got the Malevolent Charge ability, which allows you to attach up to 2 darkness energy from your hand to it when you play it from your hand to the bench, which is why you don't want to start it, because it's a card that's just much better if you can play it from your hand, because you can get those bonus energy attached. Noah's going to bench Coughing as well, and then Iono. Both players going to get a fresh set of 6. So thank you so much, Ionios, for that sub in the 60 months. Appreciate you, dude. Thanks. All right, Professor's Letter and Quick Ball. Gonna allow Noah to finally get some energy flowing. Doesn't have a single energy in play yet. So finally going to get some energy going. And it looks like Noah is weighing Hoopa, who would be able to knock out this Tatsugiri, but at what cost, right? Because Chris has got a Gabite on the bench with a water energy on it. That's really intimidating. Chris has got Raihan in hand. Like, if Noah goes in and just takes this knockout, it's not like Noah has a good board position yet. Like, Chris's board is much stronger than Noah's. Chris has 3 potential attackers lined up. With a Fracture, no longer has Fracture in hand because Noah played the Iono. But he's got 3 potential attacks, and actually doesn't have the Raihan anymore either because of Iono. That's right. But he's got 3 potential attackers ready to go. Gabite can turn into Garchomp, and with 1 fighting energy, it's swinging and also invincible. Druddigon will just need a single water energy to attack. It looks like Noah is just going to dive right in with the Hoopa. Free retreat on Sneasel. And Noah's going to take this first knockout. But taking the first knockout sometimes comes with risk. You're offering up an attacker. Chris's Tatsugiri goes down. Doesn't have to worry about that water energy getting stranded as the Tatsugiri did get knocked out. Applin getting the promote. And Chris going to play Tag Call, which you can use to search out 2 tag team cards from his deck. Going to be Guzma and Hala and Cynthia and Caitlin. And then Stormy Mountains can go search out a basic Pokemon. And it looks like that basic of choice is going to be Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt, but not how you know him from standard formats. This Raging Bolt is a single prize Pokemon. 130 hit points, and the Thunderburst Storm attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each energy attached to this Pokemon. Chris going to use Gabite to go search out Fracture, get that Fracture evolved. And then Guzma and Hala looking like it's going to be the supporter of turn. Discarding Cynthia and Caitlin and potentially an Ultra Ball. And let's see what he searches out. With Guzma and Hala, you can search out a tool card, special energy, and a stadium. And Guzma and Hala is one of those cards that is like aged very well in Gym Leader Challenge formats. Some cards get worse the older they get. Guzma and Hala is one of those cards that gets better the older it gets. Like, how funny is that? Like, a lot of cards get kind of power crept out. Some cards get power crept. Like, some old cards get better. And the reason they get better is because the cards around them get better. And that's what that's the exact situation with Guzma and Hala. When Guzma and Hala was printed in the Sun and Moon block, it was a fine card, but it came in at a very steep cost. You know, you're ditching 3 cards from your hand in order to get 3 cards from your deck. But and the cost wasn't always worth it in standard format back when Guzma Hala was standard legal. But in a format like Gym Leader Challenge format, where you're playing a singleton format and tool cards and stadium cards and special energy have all continued to like increase in power and increase in variety, Guzma and Hala has just continued to grow as a very strong card in the formats and as one of the top supporters played in a lot of decks. Looks like Chris is going to activate Garchomp this turn. So here we go. We get to experience a Sonic Slip. Sonic Slip makes it so that Garchomp is invincible for 1 turn. Sonic Slip activated when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn. You may prevent all damage from and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then Dragon Blade. Ooh, that is a heavy attack. 160 damage, does take the knockout. Discards that special charge. Special charge is an important card, as it can recover those valuable special energy, which can only be played as singleton cards in Gym Leader Challenge formats. So losing that special charge is tough. However, Double Dragon Energy is still at large in Chris's deck, so he's probably fine as far as the special energy is concerned. He hasn't really had to waste any yet, so he's in a good spot, I'd say. The Luxurious Cape on the Garchomp also just makes this thing incredibly tough to deal with. We can see Chris's board is just monstrous compared to Noah's. Noah has no energy in play. Chris has 4 energy in play to Noah's 0. Chris has 3 attackers pretty much set up or ready to go. And it looks like Noah has to go for a Guzma stall play? Oh, this is brutal. Unless he's going to Ascension. And it looks like that is what we're going to see here, actually. Not just Ascension. I think Noah's actually going to use Evo Soda, get Galarian Weezing. All right, this isn't that bad. Because the thing is that Noah can't damage that Garchomp anyway. So the Guzma bringing up the Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt is a fatty. Huge retreat cost on this guy. Retreat cost of 3. So Noah going to take this opportunity, use Evo Soda. Now, I don't know if Noah's Liepard is prized, but if I was Noah here, I would have preferred to see Noah use Ascension on Coughing and then use Evo Soda to go get Liepard. I would have preferred to see that. Because the poison damage, like, if it works and you're sticking the Raging Bolt, then, like, the poison damage doesn't really matter. And if it doesn't work, then the poison damage doesn't really matter. So, like, if sticking the Raging Bolt works, then you can afford to, like, wait a turn to use it. But if it doesn't work, then you'd rather have the Liepard in play. So, I think I would have preferred to see Noah grab that Liepard, because now Chris has got Crispin, and this is a really dangerous position. Because I actually would like to see Chris attached to the active and then double dragon the active and then just start 90 damage to the bench. This is fine too, because he's got double dragon. Double dragon can knock out the Purloin, so that's fine. So with Crispin, he's going to attach to the Fracture, diversify his energy, take another prize card, double dragon energy, providing the double rainbow effect for the Raging Bolt, knock out the Purloin. And Chris is going to go to 4 prizes remaining. And that was what I was saying about getting the Liepard, because, like, if Noah did get Liepard, then Liepard would have 100 hit points and would be able to survive this 60 damage hit from Raging Bolt. Right. But I guess, like, the poison damage is going to add up on Raging Bolt as well. So, we'll have to see. Not having Liepard is really tough for the Dark deck, though. And Noah's going to Iono himself to 5. Chris is going to get 4. Chris got 4 pretty good cards there. See a couple supporters. Raihan not going to get activated if... Here's the double turbo energy drop on the Guzzlord. It's good to get that, but you almost don't want to bench this Zorua now because it would get knocked out by Raging Bolt. So you have to kind of like hold it for a turn. And Verse Seeker off the top. I mean, both teammates and Raihan in hand. Neither of those supporters are going to be active this turn, but the Versus Seeker and Arvin. So if Chris plays a switch card in his deck, he could use Arvin to grab like Escape Rope or something. And it looks like Chris is going to play Versus Seeker. For Tate and Liza. Yep. And can heal. The poison damage off of the Raging Bolt. Devastating for Noah. And then Garchomp going to swing for 160 damage again. Taking Chris down to just 3 prizes remaining. And Noah is in a very tough position. Noah's got teammates, but Guzzlord is not doing anything to this Garchomp with a Luxurious Cape. I mean, Chris's board is nuts compared to Noah right now. He's got a board full of attackers. I'm not going to lie. Noah is in a position right now where I scoop up my cards and I say, I'm done playing. I'm going to go do something else. Yes. I don't want to play anymore. Yeah, the Dragon deck is just all set up. The dragons are too big. It's funny because like the Dragon deck and the Dark deck are kind of similar. I feel like they kind of exude similar energy. The Dragon deck is a bunch of random dudes that kind of are just good. And the Dark deck is also just a bunch of random dudes that are kind of just good. The Dark deck has more tricks that it can pull off, but the dragons are like beefier and do more damage, do more like raw damage, I would say, and are a little bit beefier. But they're kind of similarly coded decks. They're both like aggressive and relatively low to the ground. Not super heavy reliance on abilities. Kind of just like get energy on your attackers and go style decks. Guzzlord is like the ace for the Dark deck. The Dragon deck, I mean, a bunch of different cards that people would argue are the ace card for the Dragon deck. Some people argue that it's Garchomp. Some people argue that it's Regidrago. Some people argue that it's Raging Bolts or Drudagon. All right, so Noah has got Guzzlord going, but yeah, doing 120 damage, 100 damage because of the double turbo with Red Banquet into 160 hit point Garchomp with Luxurious Cape, so 260 hit point Garchomp. It's really brutal. At this point, Chris just has to go through the motions to put this game away. There we go. Chris is just going to swing with Garchomp. Go to 2 prizes left. Noah has a lone Zorua versus a horde of dragons. And a 5-2 comeback he would need to mount to make it happen. There's no shame in scooping. Noah says, let me see that discard pile. Is there any way I can stall this out? I don't think so. But Noah's going to see if there's any routes. Professor Sycamore, discard the hand, draw 7. There's 7 magical cards here. Escape Rope, Hiding Darkness. I don't think so. Ultra Ball. Let's see what Level Ball can find. Spiritomb, Sableye, good to Sable, but Garchomp's only got a retreat cost of 1. Can't really disable though. Because I don't think that, yeah, there's no, oh, there's Escape Rope, but that doesn't matter because then you're pushing the Garchomp out of the active. A Level Ball for Sableye. Sableye's a fun guy. I like this card. It's got the Excavate ability. You can check the top card of your deck, discard it or keep it. Chris is going to send up the Applin off of the Escape Rope, but I think probably the only real chance of doing like anything might have been to try and paralyze something with Zorua. The Zorua does have the paralyzing gaze attack. Like maybe that could have done something. But even so, I mean, the thing is, it's inevitable at this point because of how many attackers Chris has built up. The whole board is full of just the most heinous big dragons you've ever seen. And here comes Garchomp. Goodbye, Sableye. Chris, 1 prize remaining. Noah can try to paralyze with Zorua. Or could go for Zork and take a knockout. Here he is, the Zork from Black and White. We're going to get to see him go down swinging. Here's the counter energy. Oh, yeah, foul play. 160 damage. Plus 100, that's 260. In the knockout, Noah gets 2 prizes. But the Haxorus actually just has instant KO on board because it takes an instant knockout against any Pokemon with a special energy attached. So that is GG's, and Chris is going to emerge victorious. Moving up to a record of 2-1. Here at GLC League Night. Congratulations to Chris on the match win. Noah, tough sledding there, but thank you for playing. Big Chris stream win for all the Chris believers out there. for all the Chris fans, of which there is at least one in the Twitch chat. Huge dub. Huge dub for Chris fans all over the world. All right. Round 4 is coming up shortly. I'm going to take a quick break, but when we get back, it's going to be the last round of GLC League Nights. Thank you guys all so much for the love and good vibes tonight as we watch some Gym Leader Challenge. I'll be right back after this quick break. Don't go anywhere. All right, y'all, we're back and getting ready for the final round of our GLC League Night here at Full Grip Games in Akron, Ohio. Again, just want to shout real quick the upcoming events at Full Grip Games. We've got some awesome stuff on the schedule coming up soon, like our Retro Series and the Destined Rivals 6K doubleheader weekend. That's right. We have increased the cash payout for our Destined Rivals 6K by $2,000. We've got a $3,000 cash release weekend standard event happening on Saturday, May 31st, and a $3,000 cash Gym Leader Challenge event happening on Sunday, June 1st. And that will be the biggest prize pool ever offered for a Gym Leader Challenge event in the history of the format. So very much looking forward to that. That is huge for the formats, and also just a great opportunity for players to gather together and show off their expertise, their favorite Gym Leader Challenge decks. We've also got our Full Grip Games Retro Series coming up as well. We've got 4 events on the schedule so far, but we plan on hosting various retro formats throughout the year, about every month or 2 or 3, like every few months, like quarterly or so. Yeah. Right now, we've got an event scheduled for next Saturday, Sun and Moon through Lost Thunder, July 26th. We are hosting a Base to Neo 2002 style event. October, we are hosting RS to PK. That's Ruby and Sapphire to Power Keepers. And in December, we are doing a 2010 World Championship format retro event. So definitely make sure to mark your calendars and stay tuned. If retro Pokemon TCG is your vibe, definitely make sure to check those out, or at least tune into the streams. It's never been a better time to pick up a retro format if that's something you're into. We do allow some proxies, but they have to be nice proxies since we stream the events. So we are allowing kind of professional style proxies from websites such as printingproxies.com, which basically just, print nice cardstock proxies for your deck. So, they're very affordable and look nice on camera. So that's if you're worried about cost prohibiting you from getting into a retro format, these are a great, nice looking way for you to be able to enjoy the format. I mean, honestly, like if you invest into the kind of nicer proxies that you would get from a website like printingproxies.com, like, yeah, it really makes the deck like worth sleeving up and playing. It's not just like you have like these loose pieces of paper, with energy cards in your retro deck. Like it actually is, it's a nice, respectable way to go about proxying a card, not just a backwards card with Sharpie scrawled on it, So we do allow some professional style proxies if that's something that you're concerned about. But you know what I'm concerned about? Round number 4 here at the GLC League Nights. That's what we've got going on. The round has just gone up. And let's see who we got for our final round. Looks like Hunter going to be on stream. Apparently, getting word that there are some funky ties right now. Lots of ties tonight. Lots of ties. Okay, we got Hunter is 3-0 so far with water. So Hunter is in the hunt for a water badge this evening. And then we've also got Logan. This is, to my knowledge, Logan's first time on stream. He's 2-0-1 with Psychic this evening. So Logan also with an opportunity to clinch a dub if he's able to win. Very exciting. Very exciting. Water versus Psychic for our round 4 final round of the night. I'm curious to see what kind of builds these players have. As they get started. Psychic has a lot of options against water. I mean, you got Wobbuffet and good access to Hexmaniac with Gallade and the Buddy Catch ability, but water has power on its side. The ability to get a huge Pokemon up and rolling, deal near infinite damage. And I know Hunter is a big fan of the Quagsire Frostmoth engine, so that's what he's got going on in his build. And we see the Wooper hitting the bench immediately. Brooklet Hill, Kyogre in the active spot. We'll see if we can get a little Quagmoth action winning League tonight. I mean, it's been a little while since I've seen Quagmoth. That's pretty cool. Quagsire has this ability that allows you to move as many water energy from your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon as you want during your turn. We got the Snom. We got the Whoop. All right. It's off to Logan. Logan's turn now. And Logan ripping the turn 1 Gloria. That is incredible. I mean, that's exactly what you want. If you got Gloria in your deck, ideal time to play it. First turn of the game. Going straight for Mew from Unbroken Bonds. Giratina going to the bench as well. And Necrozma. Mew from Unbroken Bonds going to provide that bench barrier. Make it so Kyogre cannot just hit whatever it wants on the bench. That's huge. Necrozma also just a very strong attacker with a special laser attack. Could do 160 damage if it has a special energy attached. Psychic energy to Inkay, and Inkay can put the Kyogre to sleep with hypnosis. Does it wake up? No. That is a sleepy whale. Hunter making me download the Quagsire. The Quagsire card. All right. Sure, I'll download Quagsire. All right, fine. I have to be able to show it off. Here it is. No, it isn't. Here it is. And there he is, the shiny Quagsire. Quagsire's got the wash out ability. Turn 2 Quagsire, turn 2 Moth. Guzma, Giratina to get Basculin in the active spot. And then gather the crew. Hunter's going to go crew gathering with Basculin. Basculin's got the free gather the crew attack. Can wake Kyogre up from that hypnosis. Go get 2 basic Pokemon for the bench. Looking like going to be Sobble and Veluza. It's definitely a cool list that Hunter has built. He was showing it to me last week. And I gotta say, it was very well constructed. Good list. No nonsense. And Logan's got an N. Both players going to shuffle their hand into their decks. Draw 6 cards. It's a huge buff for Hunter. Only had a couple cards in his hand. Getting to go back up to a 6-card hand is huge. Prize payout tonight for our league goers. There were 16 players for our Gym Leader Challenge League night. First place getting $50 store credit. Second place, $30 store credit. And top 4 each getting $20 a piece for $5 buy-in tonight. So pretty solid for just a $5 buy-in GLC nights. Fog Crystal. Going to allow Logan to search his deck for Psychic Energy or a basic Psychic Pokemon put into his hand. I imagine it's going to go for the Psychic Energy. Will be my guess. Nope. Galarian Articuno. I lied. And are we going to see a barrier attack from Necrozma, potentially? Yo, Pokemon Communication. I'm saying Pokemon Communication should see more play. That card rules. It's basically a Master Ball. Fog Crystal for the Galarian Articuno. Pump Fake. I'm going to Pokemon Communication away the Articuno for Kirlia. Did he shuffle? Yeah, I guess he shuffled. All right. Evo Soda. Inkay. Here comes Malamar. Malamar now in play as well. And now all those Stage 1 Pokemon are online. And Logan just has to pass. Necrozma active. Let's see what Hunter can do. Air Balloon to the Frostmoth. First Seeker in hand. Escape Rope. And Logan's going to send up Cleffa. And then Iono. And you know, Quagsire actually is going to pull its weight here. Because look at this. Hunter drew into a bunch of energy. He can accelerate those energy to the bench and then move them to the active spot with Washout. So he's got Ice Dance. Put those energy onto the benched Kyogre. And let's see. It looks like Hunter is also going to Ultra Ball, discard Wailord, and Quick Ball. Maybe he wants one more trainer off of Drizzile. So yeah, going to go for Drizzile. Drizzile, Shady Dealings. Shady Dealings, get a trainer card out of the deck. It's going to be a Professor's Letter. And I like this line from Hunter. Hunter just kind of taking the opportunity to get more energy into play. And it's plays like this, you're kind of playing around cards like Hex Maniac, right? Because if Hunter only puts a few energy in play and then says, attack with the Veluza, go, then Logan could go Hex, knockout, and Hunter would be out of an attack. But by overloading his board, he's kind of protecting a little bit against Hex Maniac. So now, by spreading his energy out, he has now gone and unprotected himself from Hex Maniac. But like, yeah, you know, I think I would have liked to see the third energy stay on the Kyogre just in case a Hex does get played. That's kind of what I was expecting Hunter to do, but by spreading his energy out, he actually kind of makes it so that it's like, on one hand, you're less protected against Hex, but you're more protected against Boss, right? So you kind of have to weigh those two. Carefully. All right, so Hunter up a prize. Logan has to Iono. We'll see what these players are able to find. The Veluza does have an ability allowing it to pass its energy back when it gets knocked out. So Veluza does jive really well with the concept of this deck that Hunter has. It's got the Filet Memento ability. So when it's knocked out, it gets to pass 2 water energy back. Logan does find Dimension Valley. Also got Tinkatink. Is that its name? Tinkatink? Pretty sure it's Tinkatink. Yes, Tinkatink. So cute. But with Dimension Valley, the Necrozma doesn't have a special energy attached, so it's not actually doing 160. It's only doing like 80. So, a little bit of a swing and a miss there. 100? Oh, is it 100? Yeah, it's 100 plus 60 if it's a special energy attached. So Hunter just going to use Tate and Liza. And Hunter's set up extremely well right now. He's already got Knockout on board on the Necrozma. All he has to do is use Washout, move another energy active, and he'll be able to continue cooking along. Find Scoop Up Nets, Level Ball. The only thing missing from Hunter's board, doesn't have like an Octillery or anything. Splash Energy. And then also you could use Scoop Up Net if you wanted to on the Drizzle. Looks like I actually, and then, well, all right, so Scoop Up the Basculin and then Level Ball for Remoraid, but the Remoraid's prize. So yeah, I think that's a little bit of a waste of a Scoop Up Net. I actually would have preferred to see Hunter use Scoop Up Net on the Drizzle so that then you can use Shitty Dealings again next turn if you want to. I think that would have been a better utilization of the Scoop Up Net then, because I think that Hunter did not check his prizes for the Remoraid. That's my suspicion. If that's what he was going for. All right, so Hunter going to advance to just 4 prizes remaining. Logan still looking for a knockout. He can use Mew from Unbroken Bonds, actually, for free with the Dimension Valley in play, and can place 3 damage counters onto Hunter's Pokemon. Actually will be able to knock out the Veluza. I have to imagine that Hunter might be reading the Splash Energy, which I was actually about to as well, because I'm not sure if it has to be damage. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack. So, funny enough, the Splash Energy makes it so that if the Veluza is knocked out by damage from an attack, the Veluza comes back to hand. But, and then also Filet Memento, the ability also only procs if Veluza is knocked out by damage from an attack. But Mew from Unbroken Bonds doesn't deal damage. It places damage. And that distinction is everything in the Pokemon TCG. I mean, that distinction makes like way more difference than it really has any right to in the Pokemon TCG. But that distinction is like the crux of like a lot of rulings. So Logan, if he sees it, and I imagine he does because he promoted the Mew from Unbroken Bonds, can actually use Mew's attack to place 3 damage counters onto Hunter's Pokemon. And if he does that, he can take the knockout without dealing damage. And it looks like Hunter understands this. Both cards getting discarded because of the damage counters placed by Mew. So good call there to Logan. It's actually like a really heads-up knockout there. For sure. So Logan going to take the first prize for his side, leading with the 60 hit point Mew. And you see, I mean, Hunter would have been in a better position right now if he had used Scoop Up Net on the Drizzile instead of carelessly playing it on the Basculin. So I do think that was a little bit of a misplay from Hunter, but he may be able to right the ship now, which is fine. But now he puts himself in a very precarious situation because Kyogre has to return all of these energy to hand. So if Logan can take a knockout while also playing a card like Hexmaniac, or if Logan can use Boss's Orders to bring up Frostmoth, then Hunter is in a terrible position. So the question is, can Logan... Oh, yeah, and here's Counter Catcher off the top rope. Big play here. The Counter Catcher Frostmoth. Hunter kind of set himself up for this. He did not use Scoop Up Net on the Drizzile on that turn and instead used it on the Basculin for basically no effect, and now is getting punished a couple turns down the line because he wasn't able to use Shady Dealings to search out a supporter last turn to really continue establishing his board. Hunter had to go attack with Kyogre. Kyogre sends those energy back to hand, and now all of a sudden, Hunter's board is kind of falling apart at the seams. Thank you so much, Meta Knight Man, for that sub in the 14 months, as well as Styx for the Prime sub in the 26 months. Thank you so much for the support, guys. Appreciate it. And Logan is prioritizing getting the Tinkaton going. The Tinkaton is a crazy, crazy draw card. Also can do 180 damage. I think Tinkaton is just so good. And we see Tinkaton is in hand already. Nest Ball going for Necrozma back. Giratina going to take this knockout for Logan. This game is going to be close. Frostmoth going down is huge. Absolutely huge. Mewtwo to the bench, and then Shadow Impact for the knockout. Logan going to 4 prizes remaining. What can Hunter do to stop the bleeding here? All these energy in hand, but no way to accelerate them back into play. He does play an Aqua Patch, and with Dive Ball, he will have access to it. So he can use Inteleon's Shady Dealings ability to go search out Aqua Patch and Chaotic Swell. Aqua Patch can accelerate an extra energy into play. This kind of feels like a Band-Aid and not a permanent solution. Yes, this will allow Hunter to get an attack going this turn. But Hunter... Logan has to take a prize card, yeah. All right. Chaotic Swell in play. Aqua Patch. To the Kyogre. And then an attachment for turn. But there's no Snom down. Avery, supporter for turn. That is a big hit. I think Logan discarding the Malamar. I guess he's got some energy in play. Not the Curlia, too. Holy smokes. All right. That's a huge hit off Avery. Malamar and Curlia. Wow. But Hunter is not able to find Snom again. So he can use Washout to move these energy up to Inteleon. But Inteleon is not knocking out Giratina. It's 120 damage. So if Logan can capitalize on this and knock out Inteleon, Hunter is in a terrible position. Escape rope. Oh, I don't like this escape rope at all. You're allowing Hunter to keep his energy in play. I really don't like this. And here's Tinkaton, but you needed to clear the energy. I think Logan desperately needed to clear this energy. You have to clear the energy. Have to. Because Snom is no longer in play. So letting Hunter keep those 3 energy, like, yeah, you have Tinkaton going here, but it doesn't matter because this Tinkaton is going to get one-tapped by, I guess, if the Kyogre one-shots the Tinkaton, Hunter does lose 3 energy again. Scoop up net. The Giratina. Yeah, I really think that I would have liked to see Logan knock out. I think the Inteleon does so much more damage if you knock out that Inteleon there. Because you also eliminate. Because now what is Logan's board? Logan doesn't really have a board to speak of now. After the Tinkaton goes down. The Tinkaton, Logan has been working on this Tinkaton all game. And to just let it go down to the Kyogre here is terrible. Now, Hunter can't put that energy back into play easily. So there is that. But Logan doesn't have a board either. So I do think that this play could have just been avoided. Logan needed to not play the escape rope. That is 100% like what's kind of happening here. Playing the escape rope made it so that Hunter got to keep this energy and was able to launch this big attack this turn. But now, I mean, Hunter can't really easily get the energy back still. He might be able to attack with Inteleon, though. All right, Rescue Stretcher going to chuck 3 Pokemon back into the deck. Yeah, I think like Logan had such a powerful board and then kind of let the Avery. I think Logan needed to ditch the Mewtwo over the Kirlia as well. Because Mewtwo, you can just Rescue Stretcher the Mewtwo back. There's no reason. Don't ditch the Kirlia there. So I really would not have liked to see that Kirlia get discarded off of the... and the Malamar. Malamar charges energy. Yeah, that was a really tough discard off the Avery. I know there's no like great choice, but you have to prioritize keeping those stage 1 Pokemon in play. Because they're so much harder to recover than a basic Pokemon like Mewtwo. And Mewtwo had no energy on it. Hunter's got a pretty big hand. Considering... oh, yeah, 3 of those are water energy that he just popped back to his hand with Dynamic Wave. Definitely been a back and forth match, though. And a good one. We've gotten to see both these decks kind of fire off and do different things. So definitely a solid match. All right, so Hunter is going to Guzma and bring up the Boulder. And then can attack with Inteleon. But Inteleon only does 120 damage. Boulder has 140 hit points. Logan's still very much in a position where he could just win this game if he can just clear this energy off the board. Logan just has to knock out this Inteleon. And Logan should have knocked out the Inteleon last turn. He's got another opportunity to do it here. Tate and Liza... oh my gosh, but there's no energy in hand. I was going to say Tate and Liza just switches the Boulder, but there's no energy. So Logan has to go for a Shuffle Draw 6 instead with Cynthia. Did Logan recover the Dimension Valley off Lusamine the turn he played it before? I'm wondering if D-Valley is in deck. Finds Mystery Energy. But can't move the Boulder. And has to just pass. And Hunter finally is able to use Nessa to get the Snom back. I don't think Hunter needs to get the... I think that getting the whale back is a little silly. There's only 2 prizes left, and you're taking 1 this turn, so would have preferred to see Hunter just get back 2 water and the Snom and the Frostmoth. The whale is like, why are you getting the whale, dude? There's no, the whale is not doing it. I guess it's because he's got the Superior already in hand. Sure, I guess. But like... yeah, this whale is not going to have an opportunity to really do anything this game. So what Logan has to do this next turn has to play a hand disruptor for sure, which could still do it. Well, no, Hunter's got artillery in play now, so like the odds of the hand disruption actually working at this point are pretty low. A card like Parallel City would be quite good. Yeah, it'd have to be Parallel City because you can't like keep the Quagsire, the Octillery, the Frostmoth, and an attacker. And that I think is like the major weakness with this build, is that it's very weak to like Avery and Parallel City. The Quagmoth deck really likes to have 5 bench Pokemon. All right, Hunter's at 1 prize remaining. Can he do it? Here's Dimension Valley from Logan. Boss's orders. Quagsire, but can't Inteleon just finish this thing off? I think so, and that is going to be game. And Hunter is going to take the dub. GG's, both these players. Congratulations to Hunter on earning his water badge with the Quagmoth deck. Very fun game to watch as the final game here. So GG's to both players. Congratulations to Logan on a job well done tonight. And congratulations to Hunter for the win with his very cool Quagmoth water deck. That was definitely a fun deck to get to watch. So GG's to everybody. GG's. And that is going to do it for the stream. Hunter is your league champion tonight. GG's to everybody, and huge thanks to everybody who came out. 16 players tonight. Hunter going to take home that $50 store credits and a new water badge for his trainer card. I'll be back next week. I know I had to rain check my stream with Ben this week, but the Glory of Team Rocket set releases in Japan on Friday. So I'm going to see what we can do as far as getting singles going so that I can start showing off Destined Rivals decks here on stream in the weeks ahead, especially leading up to the Destined Rivals 6K doubleheader that we've got coming up at the end of May. So lots of fun stuff on the horizon for us here on Tricky Gym. Thank you so much for watching this evening. Huge shout out to the sponsors again, Full Grip Games. You can check out fullgripgames.com for all the best Pokemon trading card game singles and sealed product, as well as dragonshield.com for all the best sleeves and accessories for your favorite Pokemon TCG decks. I'll catch you next week, and I'll keep my stream schedule with upcoming streams, guests, things like that. All that's going to be updated in the Tricky Gym Discord. If you haven't already, make sure to join the Tricky Gym Discord as well, discord.gg/trickygym. Great place to connect with the Pokemon TCG community at large and keep track of stream schedules, event schedules, and all of that.